Dr. Umar Johnson's kind of like rhetoric and as a figure has been normalized to such a degree that when he says this, it's just like, okay, and you move on. Oh, yo, did you guys see the Umar Johnson interview with the Breakfast Club? For the guys of you who don't know, for those of you who don't know, the Breakfast Club is an extremely popular radio program that brings on a lot of politicians like Kamala Harris, Hillary Clinton, a lot of public figures, rappers, musicians, author. There's a whole host of people, right? It's hosted by Charlemagne the God, and they had Umar Johnson on, Dr. Umar Johnson. And Dr. Umar Johnson is an extremely controversial political figure who hosts a lot of beliefs about black people and the relationship black people have in the United States and what black people should do and what black people shouldn't do. And one of his beliefs is about interracial marriage. And so I want you guys to hear what he has to say about interracial marriage that got very little pushback. Listen to this.
They've been claimed by a white man.
I want to ask you something, Dr. Umar. For you, have you ever seen an interracial relationship that was acceptable to you?
No interracial relationship is acceptable because we have too many black women who are unmarried. Black women are the largest population on the planet Earth. If you can't find one in America, get it from Africa. If you can't get it from Africa, go to the Caribbean, go to Canada, go to Europe. Why would a black man need to copulate, build a family with anything other than a black woman when you have so many black women available? It is an exercise in self-hatred. There's no way to get around it.
Do you think Kanye West...
Do you know what's wild about this? There's a million things wild about what he just said. There's a million things wild about what he just said. But like, I can't imagine like sectioning off love. Like, I was gonna fall in love with you, but then I saw you were a white woman, so I'm not gonna fall in love with you. I'm gonna try to direct my love more towards a black community, like actively trying to restrict yourself from feeling feelings for people and falling in love and marrying somebody because of their race. I couldn't imagine that personally. I couldn't, really. And I mean, he even goes as far to say that if you can't find a black woman in your area that you like, import one. Import one from Africa. No matter the language barrier you could have, or the cultural barriers, or any, just import one. Like a mail order bride. Like a mail order bride. Meaning, in his world, you could not like any black woman in your community and in that way, you know, loving one. And there's a white woman you love and you could date her, but he's going to say no, instead do the thing that's 10 times more difficult and import a separate black woman from Africa. No matter the cultural differences, the language barrier, you just got to import them. Actively make your life worse because you can only see love in class. That you see like, oh, the red birds with the red birds, the blue birds with the blue birds. That's the only way you can see it. My goodness, man. Is this the black equivalent of Coach Red Pill looking for women in Eastern Europe? I don't know, man. But like, I couldn't imagine being so racist you'd rather import a wife than find out that you're attracted to a white woman. Or God forbid, a white man. My goodness. And he gets like no pushback. Look, they immediately move on to Kanye. Look at this.
If he had a black woman, things would be different.
Oh, absolutely. I think
moves on immediately to Kanye. If Kanye West had a black woman, do you think things would be different? Then he just move on. And that's not to say Charlemagne the God agrees with him. He doesn't, right? I don't think anybody at the Breakfast Club agrees with him on interracial marriage. But like, Dr. Umar Johnson's kind of like rhetoric and as a figure has been normalized to such a degree that when he says this, it's just like, okay, and you move on. Like, do you think, like, if I was on a radio program and like mid radio program, I was like, I hate race mixing. You know, there's plenty of good white women in the United States you could be marrying, or, you know, you can import one from Ukraine or whatever. Why are you marrying a black chick? If I said something like that on a radio program, I'm sure immediately I'd be kicked off the program. I would immediately be thrown out. I would lose all my sponsorships. I would, you know, no one would want to associate with me. Or at the very least, right? At the very least, I'd get pushback. But none. No pushback whatsoever. They move on to Kanye, as you can see.
One day, it's about
white
helping the
supremacist.
oppressed.
That's
The
right.
next day, you're campaigning for Donald Trump.
Dog, could you imagine, out of all the things that Kanye did wrong, right? The first one you mentioned is that he dated a white woman, or he's with a white woman, and it's not denying the Holocaust. It's not saying he loves Hitler, which, by the way, Hitler hated a lot of minority groups, Romani people, the LGBTQ plus community, queers, gay people, black people, Jews. Like, he hated a lot of minority groups. And you're not going to be like, is that even going to come up? When was this recorded before? When was this recorded? Was this recorded before the Alex Jones interview? Doesn't say. It doesn't say. I mean, it was posted 4 days ago, so if this is when it was done, then yes, it was. After.
One day, it's about being independent. The next day, I'm hearing about you going into business with some white man. Make up your mind. I think Kanye is trying to figure out where he is, but he got to make up his mind because you're too helter-skelter. And at this point, I'm going to be honest with you. Although I appreciate Kanye's honesty, I think most of his agenda is about Kanye. And I'm going to say that because when I look at our black billionaire class, whether it's Kanye, whether it's Oprah, whether it's Jay-Z,
He's not in that class
whether
no
it's
more.
Tyler Perry, even if he's no longer in that class, none of them, LeBron, Puffy, none of them have built an independent black institution for the black community anywhere in this country. Not one.
How many lashes would Kanye get?
Kanye would probably get, I'm still working on Kanye lash count because I want to see where he ends up.
Yeah.
I need him to make up his mind and then stay there.
Okay.
And I need him to be a little bit more articulate with what he says because although
What the fuck is a lash count? What is a lash count? What? Huh? 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 My white ears perked up really quick. Lash count. Fuck, man. I felt my blood like move a little faster.
Burns is
Like there's like
immoral,
some
morally
like
corrupt,
oh I
hateful.
fucking I just got like froze up a little bit. Like I had to like stop like an old southern side of my family from like the ghosts repossessing me. My goodness. Janali, I think that's Janali 1978. Thank you so much for the sub. I appreciate it, buddy. On 8 months too.
I think Kanye is on the right track, he's not articulating himself well enough. He's not controlling his public narrative. So when I do interviews like this or any interview, I go out of my way to be careful with my wording so nobody can try to use it against me later. You have to try to control your narrative, and he will get on a platform and say some things that he may not even believe just for the shock value, and you're now giving the media the opportunity to brand you something that you are not.
That's even worse to me.
Yo, do you guys remember when Umar Johnson got caught with like a white woman? Umar Johnson, white woman mall. People were clowning on him because of and people were clowning on him over this. Dr. Umar spotted with white woman at Cherry Hill Wall. Dude, this was hilarious when this happened. Look at this. Look at this. He's like a schoolgirl. Look at him.
You got it. My God. Look at it.
He's having fun. He's smiling. He's having a good old time. He was having a blast. I logged on Friday morning and saw that Dr. Umar was trending as a 37-year-old white guy from Gilbertsville. I absolutely had no clue who this was, but Google revealed he's a Philadelphia native and doctor of clinical psychology and certified school psychologist who's considered an expert in education and mental health of African American culture. With that background, apparently it was in total violation that he was... Okay, this seems like an AI-generated article. Either way, it's really, 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 really funny. Really, the where the white woman at blazing saddles. Oh my god. Either way, this was a really funny controversy. He did like a schizo post after this, like explaining, like, let me tell you the why I was with this white woman. See, I was just making small talk with a local snow bunny, and I was just explaining, you know, the facts of a matter about my phone situation because, you know, I left my phone at home, so I decided to make some. It's just like, dude, you're trying too hard. It makes you look worse how hard you're trying. Oh my god. Do we got the response? Can we actually see the response? Here it is, here it is. From New Zone. In a series of social media posts responding to the video Thursday night, Johnson claimed he was the victim of selective editing in footage that he said was doctored to suggest he was cozying up to the white woman. He offered a range of reasons for why he said the video was being taken out of context. While he admitted in an Instagram post to being at Cherry Hill Mall on Thursday, he wrote that he only stopped at a kiosk where the white woman was working so he could view the incense and crystals on his way out of the mall. That non-African woman is simply the vendor, Johnson insists. Why did he need to view the incense and crystals, man? However, there was no kiosk visible in the video. Johnson claimed the vendor became intrigued after a fan asked him for an autograph. I told her I was a popular psychologist in the black community, Johnson wrote before going on the offensive. If you dusty snow bunny loving beta male, if you dusty snow bunny loving beta males don't believe me, then please visit the mall and ask her personally if we exchange phone numbers, he wrote to the haters before adding, heavy is the head who wears the crown. As self-stated proof of his dedication to black sisters, Johnson posted yet another statement to Instagram, accompanied by a photo of himself embracing a smiling black woman, purportedly in Cherry Hill Mall on Thursday. Way too much brown sugar out here for the prince to be pushing up on a snow bunny, Johnson wrote to his followers, reminding them that he's married. My goodness.